I never meant to fall into the spaces between silence and longing. But that's where this story lives, somewhere between grief and something that feels too alive to ignore. There's a quiet that settles into a house after loss. Not the comforting kind, but the kind that feels heavy, like the air itself is holding its breath. You start to notice it in the little things, the way light hits the dust on forgotten picture frames, the faint echo of laughter that doesn't exist anymore. That's what our home became after my mom, Lena, passed away. Just walls, silence, and me, and my dad, Michael. Before we begin, please like this video and subscribe, it helps more than you know. Michael wasn't the same after she died. He didn't break down or scream or cry. He just folded inward. Like the world had taken his voice with hers. He'd stand at the sink in the morning, staring at his reflection as if he didn't recognize the man staring back. And I guess, in some ways, I didn't recognize him either. At first, we tried to keep things normal. Dinner together. Small talk about weather and bills. But beneath all that, there was this unspoken ache. He'd look at me and then look away too quickly, like seeing my face reminded him of everything he'd lost. Because I had her eyes. Her smile. Her voice when I laughed. And maybe, that's where it all began. A year passed. The grief softened, but it never really left. It just found new corners to hide in. I started taking over more around the house, cooking, cleaning, filling the spaces that used to belong to her. Michael noticed, but he never said much. He'd just watch me sometimes, this look in his eyes that I couldn't quite name. One night, it rained hard, the kind of rain that sounds like a lullaby on the windows. I couldn't sleep, so I went downstairs to make tea. The kitchen light was on. Michael was there, leaning against the counter, his shoulders heavy, his eyes lost somewhere far away. He turned when he heard me. "Couldn't sleep?" he asked. I shook my head. "You?" He exhaled, soft and slow. I miss her voice the most at night. Something about the way he said it cracked something open inside me. I poured 2 cups of tea and handed one to him. When our fingers brushed, it was just for a second, but it lingered. I felt it everywhere. "You've grown strong," he murmured. "She'd be proud." "So would she of you," I whispered. He smiled, but it was distant, like he was searching my face for something he wasn't sure he should find. We stood there, side by side, sipping tea as the rain wrapped the house in hush. I went back to bed eventually, but the warmth of that moment stayed. I couldn't explain it. It wasn't wrong, but it wasn't simple either. Spring came slow. The house smelled of blooming lilies, her favorite, and life started to creep back in. We talked more. Laughed sometimes. He'd linger by the table when I cooked, ask about my day, my dreams, my future, not like a father checking in, but like a man genuinely curious. And one evening, something shifted. I found him in the backyard, bathed in golden light, fingers intertwined, staring at the sunset like it was something sacred. "Mind if I join you?" I asked. He turned, smiled softly. "You never have to ask." I sat beside him, closer than I ever had. The air between us felt different, not heavy, but charged. "You remind me of her," he said after a long pause. "But you're not her. You're something else. Stronger. More alive." My chest ached. "She made us both stronger," I said quietly. He nodded, but there was a flicker of something behind his eyes, guilt, longing, maybe both. I reached out, my hand resting gently on his. "You don't have to apologize." He didn't pull away. His fingers tightened around mine, hesitant but deliberate. "It's not wrong," I whispered. "Just complicated." His eyes met mine then, really met mine, and in them, I saw everything we'd both been carrying: grief, love, and something new growing in the cracks between. "I don't know when it happened," he said softly, "but when you're near, the world feels less heavy." I smiled, though my heart raced. "I feel the same." That night, I found myself standing outside his bedroom door. I didn't knock. I didn't even know what I was waiting for, just that my pulse was loud enough to fill the silence. Eventually, I walked away, but I couldn't sleep. The days after that felt different. He began to touch me more, nothing overt. A hand on my shoulder. A soft brush of fingers as he passed me the salt. Little things that shouldn't mean anything, but did. One evening, I was cooking dinner. The kitchen smelled like rosemary and garlic. He came up behind me, standing so close I could feel the warmth of him against my back. "You've become the heartbeat of this home," he said quietly. I froze, then smiled faintly. "You say things like poetry." He chuckled softly. "You inspire them." We ate dinner by candlelight that night. Not planned, but when the power flickered out, neither of us minded. The soft light made everything feel slower, more intimate. When I started to clear the plates, he reached out, stopping me gently. "Thank you," he whispered. "For staying. For helping me feel again." Our hands parted slowly, like something sacred had passed between us. Later, I found him asleep on the couch, the flicker of the dying fire painting his face in amber light. I covered him with a blanket, but his eyes opened. "I didn't mean to wake you," I said softly. He smiled, that same tired, quiet smile I'd come to know. "Maybe I was waiting for you." I sat beside him. For a long time, neither of us spoke. The air buzzed with words unspoken. "Do you ever wonder," he said finally, "what it would feel like to stop pretending all the time?" I swallowed hard. "Every day." He reached for my hand, and I didn't let go. "I've spent my life following rules," he murmured. "But none of them prepared me for how I feel about you." I squeezed his hand tighter. There were no declarations, no grand gestures, just truth, quiet and trembling between us. The world would never understand this. Maybe it didn't need to. Because this wasn't about replacing her. It wasn't about forgetting. It was about two broken hearts finding warmth again. Sometimes love doesn't shout. Sometimes it whispers. It settles in the quiet moments, in the way he smiled when he said, "You mean everything." And for the first time since she died, I believed him.